Doug Inkley is a wildlife scientist. Invasive species are his actual job. That's the thing he gets paid to know about. One night in 2011, he put in his mouth guard, bit down, and there was a stink bug in it. That same year he counted them as he vacuumed them out of his own house. 26,056. January through June, 8,000 in the attic on a single day. He'd found them under his mattress, in the bathroom drain, and floating in a pot of his own chili. He went through 30 tubes of caulk. He spent $10,000 on new windows. They kept coming. So if you've got 40 of them on one window this week and you're wondering what you did wrong, you didn't do anything wrong. This is just what this bug does. Now here's the part nobody leads with, and I'll hand it to you right now. The thing that actually empties a house of them costs about $2. A roasting pan, an inch of water, a squirt of dish soap, and a lamp shining down into it in a dark room with the door shut. That's the whole trap. Virginia Tech put that exact setup up against the store-bought stink bug traps that run about $50. The pan caught 14 times more than they did. I'll show you the build, the one detail that decides whether you wake up to 10 or 110, and the popular version of this trap that I'm not going to tell you to make. I'm Otis, Northern Alabama, and I'll be straight with you before we go any further. My granddaddy never saw one of these, not one. They turned up in Allentown, Pennsylvania in the late 1990s and worked their way south from there. So there is no old-timer wisdom about this bug. What there is old wisdom about is a light over a pan of water. That part is 100 years old. Brown marmorated stink bug. Marmorated means marbled. It's the banding on the antennas that tells you it's this one and not one of the couple hundred native stink bugs that mind their own business. They spend spring and summer out in the soybeans and the fruit tree. If you're near a maple, an oak, or a black walnut, you've got the ones that lay their eggs on the undersides of those leaves. Then the nights start dropping and something switches over in them. They quit feeding and start hunting a place to pass the winter, out in the woods that's under bark or down a hollow. On your road, the biggest warm rock in sight is your house. They come at the sunny wall first, south and west side, and they walk the siding looking for a seam. Understand that, and the timing makes sense. This is a September and October problem. By December, whatever got in is already in your walls, and you're just meeting them one at a time as they wake up. Here's the whole thing. A disposable foil roasting pan, the deep kind. Fill it about an inch with water and add maybe a teaspoon of dish soap. Stir it gentle so it doesn't foam up much, then get a light over it. A desk lamp with a gooseneck bent down over the pan is about perfect. A clip light works. I've heard of folks propping a phone flashlight on a book and doing fine. Room lights off, door shut, leave it overnight. Now the soap, because that's the part people skip and then wonder why the pan is empty in the morning. Plain water will not hold them. The surface has a skin on it, surface tension, and a bug that size can sit right up on top of it and walk off the edge. Soap breaks that skin. They hit the water and go straight under. A teaspoon is plenty. More doesn't work better. It just foams, and the foam gives them something to stand on. Second thing that decides it. The room has to be dark, genuinely dark. You are asking a bug to choose your lamp over every other light in the house, and if the hall light is on, you've already lost. Pull the door to, and lay a towel along the bottom if you have to, and put it in the right room. That's the one where you keep finding them on the window glass in the afternoon. South side, usually upstairs. Don't stick it in the basement just because that's where you'd rather not look at it. Every one of these bugs steers by light. It's how they navigate. And it's the reason you find them stacked up on the inside of a window pane at 2 in the afternoon. That's them trying to get to the brightest thing they can see. At night, in a dark room, your pan is the brightest thing in their world. They fly at it, hit the lamp or the pan rim, drop in, and the soap does the rest. That's also why the electric zapper is a bad idea, and I'd rather you heard it from me than found out yourself. It kills them fine, but a stink bug that gets cooked lets go of everything it has, and roasted is considerably worse than raw. Folks have carried the zapper back out of the room inside of an hour. The pan doesn't do that. They go under the water, and the smell stays down there with them. Now the honest part, The most popular version of this trap online is nearly the same idea, except you stretch a pillowcase over a frame, spray the fabric with an insecticide, stand that in the pan, and bring the whole thing indoors. It does work. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. But that product's label doesn't cover treating fabric and standing it in a bedroom. And on a pesticide, the label is the law. It isn't a suggestion. You'd be putting treated cloth in a room where people sleep and where a cat rubs up against things. The soapy water catches plenty. I don't see the trade. 2 more. Don't vacuum them. Not with your good vacuum. That odor gets into the filter and the hose, and it will be with you for months. If you have to, drop a knee-high stocking down inside the hose, catch them in that, and pull it back out. And don't squash them on the wall. That compound stains paint, and the story that it calls in, more of them gets passed around a good deal more confidently than the evidence supports. Either way, you're left with a brown mark on your wall, a card and a jar. That's the boring answer, and it's the right one. Everything so far handles what's already inside. Here's how you stop next October. They get through a gap of about 3 millimeters. Stack 2 pennies on the table and look at the edge of them. That's the whole clearance this bug needs. So walk your house on a bright afternoon in late August and look at the sunny walls, because that's where they land, where the window frame meets the siding, where the siding meets the corner trim boards, soffit vents, gable vents, the gap around where the dryer duct or the AC line passes through the wall, under the door sweeps, and the chimney flashing, which almost nobody thinks to check. Caulk the seams. Fine mesh screen behind the vents. The vents have to stay open, so screen them, don't seal them. Timing matters more than thoroughness here. Seal in August, and you've locked them out. Seal in November, and you've locked a few hundred of them inside the wall cavity, where they'll spend all winter working toward the warm side and coming out at your light switches one at a time until spring. That's the piece nobody says out loud. If you're already deep into the season, trap them now and do the sealing next summer. One more that's easy. Swap the outdoor bulbs by your doors over to warm yellow. The bright white ones are a beacon on an October night. The whole trap runs about $2 if you have to buy the pan. And you probably don't. A woman over in Marshall County ran 4 nights in her upstairs bedroom with the door pulled shut. First morning she counted 60-some in the pan. Fourth morning it was down to 9. Inside, a week she was finding 1 or 2 a day instead of 40 on a window. She still had them the following fall, because she hadn't sealed anything. That's the part I want you to hold on to. The pan empties the house. The caulk gun is what ends it. And I'll say the thing from the top one more time, because I think it's worth sitting with. This bug has been in this country about 30 years. There's no grandmother's remedy for it, no trick handed down, nothing from before. Every one of us is working it out from scratch, right now, at the same time. The pan of water under a lamp, though, that one is older than the bug by 100 years. Somebody was catching moths that way, long before anybody here had heard the word marmorated. Tell me down below which wall of your house they land on first, south or west. I'd bet money on it.